Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Top Rope with Mike Mayer here on the Off the Mic Sports Network YouTube channel, reviewing the season premiere and the debut of SmackDown on USA. After 5 years, SmackDown has now moved from Fox to USA. This was an awesome show, awesome setting in Seattle at Climate Pledge Arena, and a big-time feel, big-time show. Got Megan Thee Stallion, a new song. I'm not going to debate in that. It's a weird fit with this SmackDown, and maybe it'll take some getting used to. But a lot of mixed reaction in regards to the open of the show with the new music and also the new logo that looks like Smack Zone. But I like the design behind it. So new look, new feel of SmackDown. We start with Triple H. He hypes up the crowd. He does his "Are You Ready" shtick. And then we lower the steel cage with fire surrounding the ring. So that was really cool. Michael Cole and Corey Graves now on commentary. As first reported earlier in the day, I think it was yesterday, but it was also reported that this first half hour was going to be commercial free. But Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa, not the main event of the show. It opens up. It all makes sense in the end. This was an awesome match. This was better than their SummerSlam match. I really enjoyed this. Solo looked really good in defeat. The one thing that I'm going to say, and this is a big problem for me with steel cage matches in WWE, and one thing that I'm going to give credit to AEW for with their cage matches. Why is there an escape the cage thing in cage matches? The whole idea is to keep your opponent, you keep opposition out of it and keep everything inside the cage, like in a Hell in a Cell match. The goal of a Hell in a Cell match is not to escape the cage. Come on, what are we doing? It's supposed to hold everybody in and hold the action in, and keep the violence inside the ring. That's the idea of it. So I've never understood why WWE is always stuck to this. I know sometimes it's been used as a way out so a guy doesn't have to get pinned, but in a scenario like this, where it's a world title match, a big-time match that main evented SummerSlam. It's a rematch of that match. Why would you add the stipulation to it? Yes, it's been in WWE for years. You could have just basically said the only way to win is by pinfall or submission. It doesn't have to be escape the cage. There were spots in this match where it was guys trying to escape the cage, and it was odd. It was really odd. If I had one really, nitpick, aside from the fact that this was a great match, kind of pick it up here, midway portion of this thing. Cody's climbing the cage. Solo pulled him back into the ring. He then attempted to climb it himself, but Cody met up on the top rope. As they both met at the top of the cage, Cody got advantage with some strikes and attempted an escape, but Solo grabbed him and suplexed him back into the cage. A little bit awkward, but it was a nasty looking spot. Thankfully, both men seemed to land safety. It almost looked like a brain buster, actually. It was kind of gnarly. Solo gets a 2 out of that. Solo then pulled Cody to his feet, landed 2 spinning solos, and covered again for another close near fall. Solo then teased the spike. Cody blocked it, started his comeback. He landed a running forearm and a disaster kick, followed by a Cody cutter for a near fall. Cody actually hit a Cody cutter using the cage as an assist in this match, which was really cool. So that gets a near fall. Solo fired back with a hip attack in the corner and a Samoan drop. He then climbed to the top, landed a big splash for another near fall. Charles Robinson's checking on Cody Rhodes to make sure he can continue. Cody's able to crawl to the corner. Solo turned his back to Cody, who tried to crawl out the door. That was interesting because Solo does the hip attack into the corner where the door is, and Solo turns his back for just a second, and he almost loses the match. So Solo, as Cody's trying to get out of the ring, gets pulled back in. Cody surprises Solo with a crossroad, covers, but it's only a 2. Cody then climbed to the top of the cage and dove onto Solo with a flying crossbody. I thought this was the point where Cody was going to do his signature moonsault, but I guess they wanted to play it safe here. The crossbody still looked really good. But that only got a near fall. He then attempted to crawl out the door, but Solo closed the cage on his face. That was a really neat shot. They shot it really tight. It made me think that the Bloodline might get involved, but they didn't. And Solo closes the cage on Cody's face. Solo goes for another spike, but Cody ducks, hits a crossroads, and that's it. Cody Rhodes retains the WWE Championship. No surprise here. This was awesome. Again, better than their SummerSlam match. But again, really my big issue with this match, and it's not even so much this match, it's with cage matches in general in WWE. You do not need to add the extra stipulation that escaping the cage ends the match. It's not one of those things that, you really need to resort to protect a guy, especially when you're going to use these cage matches in like these big time high stakes matches. A guy can take a pinfall and it doesn't really hurt him. In this case, like, we knew who Solo was. We knew he wasn't winning, but I like that it was clean. I like that Cody did it without any bloodline bullshit. And I think that's in large part what made this match a lot more effective than the SummerSlam match one. So then after the match, the Bloodline immediately surrounds the ring, begins climbing their way into the cage. Solo delivers a spike to Cody. The rest of the Bloodline found their way in, continue to beat him down. Fatu lands a moonsault, and Cody, Solo demanded that Jacob go to the top of the cage. So Jacob goes all the way up to the top of the cage. As he's about to leap onto Cody from the top of the cage, Roman Reigns' music hits. Everybody goes fucking nuts. Our original tribal chief is back. He gets into the cage, closes the door behind him like a fucking badass. He easily disposes of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, but he gets jumped from behind by Solo. The numbers advantage pays off momentarily, but Roman pops up, hits Solo with a Superman punch. Jacob Fatu ends up pulling Solo out of the cage, but Roman invites Jacob in to fight. And as they're ready to square off, Solo pulls Jacob out of the ring to the outside. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa jump Roman from behind, and that requires Cody to jump in and make the save. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. And Cody and Roman stared down Solo and Fatu to end the segment. This was awesome. Everything involved in this was great. All right, before we move on, there's that moment with Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns. And I've already seen people are hyping it up like it's a big thing. It's a big time match. And there's a couple of content creators across the internet are already saying Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. And I'm here to tell you, I think Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, who would want to see that? I'm here to tell you that if they do that match at WrestleMania 41, it is a terrible, terrible idea. And here's why. If you do that match at WrestleMania 41 and Rock faces Cody Rhodes, somebody has to lose. And I'm telling you right now, Jacob Fatu can't lose, and neither can Roman Reigns. So you're put in an impossible position of who's going to take the loss in that WrestleMania match. Does Roman beef up his stock and ultimately, gear up for Rock at WrestleMania 42? I just think it's a terrible idea, and I've spoken about this on the channel. I think it is an awful idea to delay Roman Rock another year. I don't know the sense of, they have Cody and Rock on the table for WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. And if they want to go that route, that's fine. I don't think it's the right idea. I think Roman Rock transcends this business. And Cody could face Randy Orton. There's a ready-made opponent right there. If Roman Reigns is not facing Rock, I don't think Jacob Fatu is the best alternative. If you're going to go that route and you're going to do a WrestleMania match with Roman Reigns aside from Cody, from Rock, it would probably be Solo Sikoa. Because at least in that scenario, Roman's going to win, and Roman cannot, under any circumstances, lose a match before he gets to Rock. And that's why I think this Rock-Roman match needs to happen, because all of this really comes down to how much longer do you really want to delay this? And I don't think Rock has a lot of matches left in him, to be honest with you. He has a lot that he can give the business, but I just don't know how much longer you can string this thing out. I think some people are just getting fatigued from the fact of we almost got force-fed Rock Roman at WrestleMania. What's the sense in there in delaying that? Because you want to do Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns? I think it's better served for Jacob Fatu to face Roman Reigns after a Rock match. Because at least at that point, Roman's stock is even higher, if that's even possible. Because I think that it would just hurt both guys, because Roman or Jacob has to win. I don't think either guy can really afford it in this scenario. Jacob if he loses, the aura is kind of instantly taken off. Yeah, you lost to the tribal chief, but still, it's not a great idea. And Roman can't lose because he's still got the biggest match in the history of wrestling on the table. He can't lose to Jacob Fatu. So again, it's a really poor thought out concept. I understand why people want to see Roman versus Jacob Fatu, but Roman's got a lot more to give. He's got a lot longer left in this business than The Rock does. And Jacob Fatu has plenty of years left. He just got started in WWE. So stop trying to rush this match and avoid the inevitable that is going to be Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41. I still think that match is going to happen, and I think Rock and Cody Rhodes should happen at Royal Rumble, and they should use that as a jumping off points to ultimately build to Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. It's just, this feels like people are just overcomplicating something for the sake of overcomplicating it. So then we get a backstage interview. It is Nicholas Aldis, the great Nicholas Aldis, who is a fantastic GM. He gets interviewed backstage by Kathy Kelly. Good to see her back on television. Nick said everyone has been sequestered in their locker rooms after what happened. He said Solo Sikoa reached out with a challenge and that the night is far from over. Interesting to see, sort of planting the seeds for what's going to happen the rest of the night. So then we get Michin versus Piper Niven. This was a short match. I know a lot of people are not going to be happy with the utilization of the women. But again, when the first major angle of your show and Roman Reigns is back and it takes up the 40 minutes of the show to start, of course this type of stuff is going to happen. But it was good. I love Michin keeps getting TV time. It was a 2-minute match. She hits Eat Defeat on Piper Niven to get the win. After the match, Chelsea Green gets quickly involved, attacks Michin from behind. Piper then hits a running senton, and Chelsea lands an unpretty her on a trash can. I'm glad that Chelsea got some of her heat back, and she's had a pretty big week for herself. She goes to NXT, puts on a pretty decent match with Julia. That was really a lengthy, a longer squash match, but Chelsea did her job really well. Chelsea's one of the best in the business. It's really hard to play a character who is portrayed as a joke for most of the time. But yeah, Michin, great to see her. Great to see her get a win. It sucks that Piper Niven, who I love too, is getting beaten like this. But then the heels get their heat back, and Chelsea and Piper are looking really strong coming out of that. So all in all, a really good segment there, even if it was short. And I know some women's wrestling people are just going to be like, they could have got longer than 2 minutes. Guys, it's fine. They got on television. So then we get through some SmackDown memories. What I liked here, and what I think also may have, diminished the Megan Thee Stallion song, is they played some of the older OG, excellent SmackDown themes of past, including the first ever SmackDown theme. And then I think there was one from about 2007, 2008, two of the classics that SmackDown. It's a shame they don't play the Marilyn Manson one, but there's not. And there was also one that they had in right before they went to the live concept in 2015. I think it's called Black and Blue. Go listen to that one. It's a really low key banger. But yeah, that also hammered home that Megan Thee Stallion thing. It's going to take some getting used to, and who knows, maybe it doesn't work. But AC/DC was at one point randomly the theme song of SmackDown, and that took a while to get used to. So then Michael Cole, after running down the SmackDown memories, we show RVD. I wonder how baked he was in the front row with his wife, Katie Forbes. Vicky Guerrero is there. They actually, through those memories, showed a picture of Eddie Guerrero, so that was really nice to see Vicky after that. And then Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser are there, so Ludwig getting to see Tiffany Stratton, because it's weird that those two are together and not on the same show, so that was cool. And then we set up for Grayson Waller and Austin Theory taking on Kevin Owens and a mystery partner. Everybody thinks it's a slam dunk that it is going to be Randy Orton. And out comes generic music hits, and out comes this guy in this Miami Vice looking attire. It says his name is Ricky. I think he's from I forget something Heat, and it's like a Pacific Northwest team. They're actually facing FTR locally up in at the end of the month. Owens kind of introduces him as he said, I couldn't find a partner. My first choice couldn't make it. He's having travel issues. So yeah, Ricky's my partner. This guy's my partner. Production assistant immediately comes in, flags down Owens, said he's here. Owens tells Reggie, I think he called him Reggie or Ricky and mispronounced it. Kevin Owens is so great, so goofy, most unserious wrestler in the best way possible. So he says sorry, gives him a stunner. Immediately, Randy Orton's music hits. Randy Orton, no surprise, is the partner of Kevin Owens. Rated RKO KO is back together. This was fun. Waller, in theory, controlled the action during the commercial break to this match. Owens mounts a comeback on Theory, but Waller was able to tag in and prevent the hot tag to Orton anyways. Owens then knocked Waller off the turnbuckle. Theory quickly tags in. Owens then dropped him in front of the turnbuckles and landed a swanton bomb, which was sick. During this sequence, Corey Graves points out, man, nobody's been able to superplex Kevin Owens. Why does people try doing this? It's a great little bit that they've been playing up. So he lands this swanton bomb. Owens crawls towards the corner, but Waller was able to pull Orton off the apron before he could make a tag. Theory and Waller then landed a double team suplex on KO for a 2. So then they continue to foil Owens from getting to the corner for a tag. Frequent tags and double teams put a stop to some of this rally. So this was good tag team wrestling here by Theory and Waller. You wouldn't be able to tell that they've been having issues for a while. Owens then eventually rolls out of the ring, circled on the outside, rolled in front, and made the tag. I've never seen anybody do that to make a hot tag rather than the generic thing of running across the ring and leaping towards the corner. That was brilliant. I love that spot. So Orton just comes in, starts wrecking Theory and Waller. Action spills to the outside where both men were backdropped on the announce table. Orton sets up for the draping DDT. Owens then gets involved. He hits they hit dueling draping DDTs on Waller in Theory. And then they both do the signature Orton pose where they pound where they're stalking their opponent, hitting the mat. And then Owens hits the stunner and Orton hits the RKO on Waller. It happens in stereo, and Orton pins Waller to win the match. This was a short but sweet little tag team match. Owens and Orton looking at the camera right after the match apologized to Ricky for what happened to him. That was kind of funny. And Kevin Owens is seriously like the most unserious wrestler of all time. It's so wonderful. I love the man to death. I know he's gonna have to turn heel eventually, but he's such a phenomenal babyface because he's just so goofy and just so unserious. It's great. So backstage, Nick Aldis is interviewed about the challenge from Solo Sikoa that he teased earlier, and says the challenge is Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa against Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at Bad Blood. You heard that right. Roman Reigns, and all towards the end, and we'll see this come official at the end. Roman Reigns is potentially on the books to work a B-level show. I can't even tell you the last time he worked. It was probably Elimination Chamber. Maybe you can count Money in the Bank for that Bloodline Civil War, but also Elimination Chamber. It's been a while since Roman Reigns has participated on a non-Big Four or Big Five show. That's a big deal for this to be on the table. So that challenge is laid up. Cody pops into the room, tells Aldis that I don't know if you heard me. I've told the Bloodline I'm done with them. The Bloodline's Roman Reigns problem. I have no intention of signing that contract. So Nick Aldis said he's going to go talk to Roman Reigns about it, and that's the end of the segment. So full angle throughout this show woven in between the Bloodline, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns, which is great. So then we get Nia Jax coming out next for a promo. Before we get there, Booker T and Sharmell are shown. Also, Sheamus and Michael P.S. Hayes are shown. Nia Jax is in the ring. She recounts her accomplishments since returning to the WWE a year ago. She then said she was told by Nick Aldis that she is going to defend her title with Bad Blood. She talked about winning Queen of the Ring, the Women's Championship, and said she didn't care who her opponent was because she would annihilate them. Shout out to her finishing maneuver. Bayley gets to the ring. She compliments Nia on having the best year of her career, but then cracked at her saying, yeah, the bar's pretty low for you. So then she demands her rematch against Nia at Bad Blood, but Nia said she was not in the place to make demands. Nia joked she didn't need a posse like Bayley did with Damage Control, and Bayley responded that, hey, she didn't need Damage Control to win the title at WrestleMania. Bayley wondered if whatever was going on with Tiffany was actually a posse, which was Tiffany's cue to come out. So she comes out to a big pop. Bayley cracked that she had beaten Tiffany last week, to which Tiffany replied that it was only because of Nia's involvement. Ooh, interesting. And so that irritates Nia, who sniffed out Bayley's scheme of saying, yeah, I see what you're trying to do. So she's threatened Bayley with a beatdown 2-on-1. And Naomi shows up. She makes her way to the ring. She said if they wanted to fight, let's glow. Using her a nice little wordplay there, Naomi. Naomi ended up proposing a tag, or actually Nia ended up proposing a tag team match between the four of them next week and said if one of them wins, they get the title shot against Nia at Bad Blood. They accept the match. Nia, and I thought what Nia was going to say was start to plant the seeds of maybe dissension of whoever gets the pin in this match, or because I was a little bit confused, but I guess it's whoever gets the pin is going to ultimately challenge Nia for the championship. So I thought she was going to plant the seeds, but no, she added this stipulation to the match. Hey, if one of you gets pinned in this match, you have to leave SmackDown for good. So an interesting stakes here. I think it's just to heighten the drama. Either Naomi or Bayley, likely Bayley is going to ultimately get the pin in this match, and we're going to get that match at Bad Blood. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's Naomi, but I think one of the baby faces is ultimately going to win and probably pin Tiffany, which sucks. But you know what? This is what happens when you're Mr. or Miss Money in the Bank. You typically lose all the time. So then Nick Aldis, another backstage segment with him. Nick Aldis was busy tonight. He confirmed Roman Reigns. He confirmed that, hey, Roman Reigns is going to address the situation after the next match in the ring, which is Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade, Part 5. Hell yes, I love this. Before Andrade could even get his ring gear off, Carmelo assaults him before the bell. And then these two boys, dare I say, hooped again. So Andrade is able to recover quickly from that that attack before the bell, sends Hayes to the floor. He then delivers a moonsault from the second turnbuckle to the floor. And go all the way down to the floor from that second turnbuckle out to the outside. They continue to brawl on the floor with Andrade getting the best of it. Both men ended up standing on the barricade near the timekeeper's area, and then Andrade hits the reverse Spanish fly from the barricade to the floor. Whew! That's been one of the signature spots of this feud that they've had since Money in the Bank. So doing that from the barricade to the floor, it looked nasty. After a commercial, both men traded some quick reversals and pinning combinations. Hayes gets the first 48. Andrade then landed the back elbow, one of my favorite moves in wrestling, for a close near fall. Andrade attempted his double jump moonsault, but Carmelo gets his knees up off of the second one, which is Andrade just does it so effortlessly and so quickly. It looks so smooth. It's great to watch both these guys work. Hayes then hits a face buster. He goes to the top rope, goes for nothing but Andrade avoids, and it ended up landing a destroyer, which, didn't look strong on impact, but it still looked nasty, like that Carmelo landed on the top of his head. He follows up with a double knee strike in the corner. Andrade covers, but Hayes got his hand on the rope, and I was like, man, why do baby faces have to be so dumb? It's mostly baby faces. They'll pin a guy, no matter what happens, close to the ropes, and the guy will easily get the rope break. Andrade goes to the top rope, goes for a split leg and moonsault, but Hayes managed to avoid it. He places Andrade back on the ropes. Andrade blocks a head scissor attempt and hits the Message, his finisher, from the second rope for the win. Andrade beats Carmelo Hayes in match number 5. He's now up 3-2. I do not think this is over, even though the direction that they're going leads you to think that it's over. I don't think it's over in the slightest yet. So after that match, LA Knight comes out. Yeah, great to see him. Andrade invites him to the ring. He addressed Andrade from the ramp. He told him, hey, congratulations, you're the next contestant to get dropped on your head by the megastar. So they confirm that it will be Andrade versus LA Knight for the United States Championship next week on SmackDown. That's awesome. I can't wait to see that. I would imagine Carmelo Hayes is involved in some capacity, screwing over Andrade. Maybe we get a non-finish, and that leads to match number 6 in this thing. I love that LA Knight's being woven into this thing as sort of like a prize for these two who have been dueling out now through 5 matches. I don't think this is a best of 5. I think this is going 7. Carmelo will get match 6. And maybe we get match number 7 at a pay-per-view, maybe Bad Blood or somewhere else. Also, Bayley, like I said, Naomi versus Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton confirmed for next week. We get a quick little backstage interview with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Byron Saxton, good to see Byron. So they said they were giving out work, and whoever wanted it could come apply. Nia and Tiffany show up. Nia said if Naomi continues to stick her nose in her business, something very bad would happen to her. She then declared SmackDown her kingdom and reminded that Bianca and Jade, I beat both of you to become Queen of the Ring and ultimately led to my path to being the women's champion. So that was really good, planting the seeds potentially for the women's tag team champions to potentially, be across the way from Nia Jax. Because at some point, Nia Jax is going to have to start facing other people. And I mean, one of the downfalls of this women's division, especially on the SmackDown side with Jade and Bianca being the women's tag champions, is they're kind of out of the singles picture, and that's kind of diminished. It's allowed for opportunities for people like Michin, but Naomi and Naomi's great too, but it's like Jade and Bianca are like two of the staples of this women's division on SmackDown. And to not include them in this picture, but having Nia confront them leads me to believe that there's something there. Then we get the Tribal Chief. The OTC makes his return, get another long entrance because we don't have a ton of pyro in the budget. And we're going to hear from Roman Reigns for the first time since WrestleMania. He has not talked on camera. You've heard him faintly, like he hasn't had a microphone in his hand. So he holds this one up to the sky. Crowd follows along with him. Nick's already in the ring, starts to address the crowd, but Roman does his signature motion for him to stop and ask for the microphone. First, Nick gives him the contract. Roman gives him this look, like, what are you doing? So he does the hand motion again and gets the microphone, similar to how he gets it from Paul Heyman. Roman said he didn't want to confuse anybody. Some things changed, but not him. He said he didn't need the contract or Nick Aldis or anybody to approve it because this is a family business. Roman said he also didn't need the help of Cody Rhodes and said that even if he didn't have the Ulafal, he was still the original and only Tribal Chief. So, hey, OTC now has two different meanings, which is great. Man, that shirt's going to just sell so many fucking merchandise. Like, the shirt's just selling like hotcakes. Like, Roman's just the best. So then he said it was his ring, his show, and his WWE, which ultimately brought out Cody Rhodes. Cody kind of looked somber as he limped a little to the ring after he had a grueling match to start the show. So he grabs a microphone, big OTC chant. Cody begins to speak, and Cody said his ring, his WWE, and said, well, it was, and it hasn't been since WrestleMania. Nice little burn. Out comes Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. They're distracting the other two of them. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa attack Cody and Roman from behind, but they get quickly responded to. Cody gets a Cody cutter. Roman hits a Uranagi. Rock bottom. Again, I think it's going to be Rock and Roman Reigns. That I don't know why they would delay this. And Roman then picks up the contract off the ground. He signs it. Crowd goes crazy. Cody thought about it, sticks his hand out. Roman hands him the contract. They're both kind of looking at each other, almost glaring at each other. And Cody signs it. Cody and Roman exchange a stare as Solo and Jacob jawed at them to close the show. So we are getting Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa at Bad Blood. Never in a million years, a number of different things. I never thought that I would ever see Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns team with each other, at least this quickly. But they made it make sense. They showed angst and animosity. But then, hey, enemy of my enemy is my friend. I love that. I even love that Solo and Jacob were John. Hey, he don't like you? He don't like you? No. Because they were trying to beg it off. They issued the challenge. They were hoping that it wouldn't get accepted. And they did a little bit of a misdirect. And a lot of people are disappointed that, hey, a lot of the OG bloodline hasn't been incorporated, like a Jimmy Uso. Jey Uso still got to sort out the IC title stuff, and so does Sami Zayn. But listen, this is going to be admittedly awesome at Bad Blood because I never thought I'd see Roman and Cody teaming with each other. I also never thought I would see Roman in his first match back being on Bad Blood of all places. That is wild. They are beefing up Bad Blood, everybody. They have announced CM Punk and Drew McIntyre Hell in a Cell. They have announced Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley in a grudge match. There's presumed Gunther's going to probably face Sami Zayn at that pay-per-view. If they don't do it, they'll probably do it on the Raw, and it'll make that title and make that Raw more significant. We're not. I would be led to believe that since Cody Rhodes is not in a title match at Bad Blood, it would lead me to believe that Cody and Gunther, Sami and Gunther would be on that show. Nia's going to defend her title against probably Bayley or Naomi. I would assume it's Bayley, but if it's Naomi, that would be really cool too. But they are loading up this show. They have promoted the fuck out of Bad Blood, and I love it. It makes it feel that much bigger. Atlanta is going to be popping for that show. It's an earlier start time than usual, so it's nice to see that they're making this pay-per-view matter. Again, going back to my initial point from earlier on in the show, I need to just hammer this home. I don't understand why so many people are resistant to the inevitability in my mind that Roman Reigns is going to face The Rock at WrestleMania 41. And people trying to concoct other ways for Roman to, be away from The Rock. I don't know why you need to kick the can further down the road. You just do not know what could happen. This is the biggest money match that you could possibly do. I love Cody Rhodes. Cody and Rock is not nearly at the level of Roman Rock. I understand why they had to do Roman Cody this year because there was a story there, and it did not feel like a big time story for Rock to just force feed his way and shoehorn his way in to that title match this year. But I do not fundamentally understand why people want to delay it another year, and then they are coming up with ideas like Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns. Jacob can't lose. Roman can't lose. It's not hard, people. Jacob Fatu could face Roman Reigns 2 years down the road when Roman is even more enhanced when he beats The Rock and gets the Ulafala and is the tribal chief. This is not hard, and I really hope that WWE is not thinking the same line as some of these people who have platforms that are trying to push this narrative out there that Rock and Roman Reigns is not going to happen at WrestleMania next year. It is going to happen, and it's not going to be for the championship. It's going to be for the Ulafala. Rock is going to be behind this whole bloodline situation. Jacob Fatu, Roman Reigns is something you need to build to. And it doesn't feel like, hey, we need to do it in 2025. Just pace yourself. Baby steps. Let's get Rock and Roman done. It's the biggest match that you could do. You delayed it because it was going to be a bullshit way to get to it this year. You need to do it at Vegas, at WrestleMania 41. Because if you don't, I don't know when the best window is going to be for that. And Jacob Fatu can absolutely wait for that. So need to get that off my chest. That really frustrated me that a lot of people were just continuously, pushing that narrative out there. So anyway, great show tonight. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching. Follow us at OT Mike Sports and follow me at Off the Mic 28. Thanks for tuning in to the SmackDown review of Off the Top Rope with Mike Mayer. I appreciate all the love and support. A lot of great new subscribers. I appreciate all the love. We've grown immensely in the last week. I'm so excited for the future of this channel, and we're gonna have some other great content over the weekend with obviously NFL games, and obviously some good wrestling takes as we get into next week, where a lot of good stuff is going to be happening. Raw, SmackDown, AEW, a lot of good stuff going on. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I will talk to you guys soon.